Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mias and welcome to my Burning Abyss deck profile. So before you start, friendly reminder to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. I said I wouldn't make any intros anymore, but I realized that not enough people subscribe, so this is why I actually have to do the reminder to remind people to like and subscribe. I'm really redundant, really redundant. Anyway, so let's jump right into it. Of course, I'm playing two Barbar. Who doesn't love burning their opponents? No, please don't stall for time. Please don't be that guy. But Barbar is actually involved in one of the OTK combos, so I like to be able to at least play one Barbar. If you don't like playing multiple Barbars, I think it's also okay. Ironically, as hilarious as this may sound, I think even playing the really bad Burning Abyss like Draghig and Calcab might not be that bad of an idea, because even though they don't really have a real effect, they still are free special summons from the hand, so it's really up to you. But I like to play the ones that actually at least do something as 2-ofs, and then I'll see, do I want to play like one of the bad Burning Abyss monsters? It really depends, but to be fair, I think right now we have enough cards to make a full 40 card deck without having to play too many gimmicky cards. Anyways, 2 Seer and 2 Graphs. This should be up here. Seer is just really good, and the fact that it's actually a 2 now, I want to say is a bit more impactful, because now, you know, when you lose your first Seer, your Dante doesn't always have to recycle back the first Seer, you know? So you can actually get the Dante Seer loop going a little bit more smoother. So I think Seer at 2 is actually more impactful than Graph at 2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this might make a bit more sense. But still, being able to play 2 Graph as well is just absolutely amazing. If you're a good Burning Abyss player, please let me know in the comment section below what are your thoughts on, you know, getting 1 additional Graph and 1 additional Seer. I honestly am not that good myself. I'm just really trying to deck build to give people ideas, but I also learn from making my deck profile. So if you're good with the deck, yeah, please let me know. But I think this is really cool, and yeah, just maxing out, of course, on the good ones, always something that you want to do. 2 Calcab, this actually returns back set back rows to the hand. This can also be used against, like, on yourself, because sometimes you have, like, face down, you know, trap cards, and the issue with the Burning Abyss monsters is that you can only reveal to special summon if you control no spells and traps on your field. So ironically, if your opponent goes set rotation, and you just have a bunch of Burning Abyss cards, you can't do anything because you actually have a face down back row field spell, and even if you flip it, it's still like a card that occupies your spell and trap zone, even though it's not like, you know, like in the back row. It's like in the middle row, you know, kind of. There's the front row of the monsters and then the middle with the fields. You understand what I'm trying to say. That's the only thing that matters. Yeah, also being able to use this during the opponent's end phase with Beatrice to bounce back their like 1-of back row, and then, you know, have like a safe OTK through trap cards. Really fantastic. So I think Calcab at 2 is definitely a good thing. Limbic at 2. So basically, if Limbic is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a BA monster from the hand. Now, this might actually seem redundant, but the part that actually makes Limbic interesting is the fact that it negates the effect of your Burning Abyss monster, and shockingly enough, you want your BA monsters to be negated. And I even want to say that this card right here, Skill Drain, might actually be considered in the Burning Abyss deck, simply because of the fact that your BA monsters don't actually even have like good positive effects on the field. You don't even want them to have effects because they just simply destroy themselves when you have non-BAs, and Dante mills for cost anyways, so if you're kind of just frustrated with your skill drain, well, at least you can still mill for cost and play with Beatrice, crash. Beatrice gets an effect when it's, you know, it's destroyed, so it doesn't even matter. You summon Pilgrim and then you can start doing some cool things. It's cool, but yeah, Limbic being able to negate the monster that you summon off of it is really nice. It allows you to just summon more monsters and OTK your opponent a bit easier. I mentioned OTK quite a lot, but to be fair, you can also Appaloosa with Beatrice and trap cards, which is a really nice turn 1 combo that you can do in this deck, and it's scarier than you think, because Beatrice is already a lot of stability. It gets a lot of resources back. You know, it's medium quality for high return, which is a thing that I like a lot. BA is ironically the deck that never dies in every single sense of the word, like of the phrase as possible, because it's really hard to kill the deck, and also it's been around since like 2015, and the deck is just, it's here to stay. Wait, sorry, 2014, Duelist Alliance, yeah, and the deck was nasty. 3 Skarm, 3 Graph, 3 Seer. Not too bad. Imagine, yo, the day that we're actually gonna get 3 Graph and 3 Seer with 3 Beatrice. Ooh, Gonna be nasty. Beatrice at 3. It's insane, especially if you could actually send Fairy Tale Snow, which will never happen, we already know that. Maybe next video is going to be what if Snow was unbanned. I actually can't wait to do this because Snow with Thunder Dragon cards, with Giant Rex, with Shiranui Spirit Master, and if you can mill it with that and like Orbital Hydrolander, Snow doesn't sound like a healthy, fair Yu-Gi-Oh card if you ask me. So yeah, and you're talking to a 60 card player, by the way. Lawn Mowing, Zodiac, Infernoid. The good old days. Anyways, to Alec, this is the second card that is pretty good to send with Beatrice during your opponent's turn when you want to interrupt them. So obviously Farfa is the easy, like, obvious option. You know, it banishes a card on their field, a monster on either player's field until the end phase, so this could actually be used on yourself. And really fun fact, by the way, if you're going up against like a Monarch, Erupt, or Scale Drain, you can make Phoenix, and then, you know, as with Farfa as a material, and then go Chainlink 1 Phoenix, discard to destroy the opponent's monster, and then Chainlink 2 Farfa to banish your Phoenix. And then basically what happens is that Phoenix is no longer on the field when it is trying to resolve, so it dodges the negation effect of Monarch's Erupt and Scale Drain, and also you get rid of your non-BA, so you can actually just start spamming the field with real BAs, and you are just free from the Scale Drain, so you can make Negalogia. Yeah, I already spoiled it. You can make Negalogia with your Dante after it battles, nuke the entire board after that. BA has like untapped potential like there is no tomorrow. I think it's just a deck that will be even better with time, you know, because the thing is, when you think about it, this deck never really died and never really lost something that stopped it from actually being good. It's just that other decks become better. But what if Konami just decided to be nice and give this deck support that allows it to be on par with everyone else? I would 100% be down with that, so yeah. But yeah, 2 Alec, 3 Farfa, why not? 3 Skarm, of course, and I don't really want to explain 3 Tour Guide too much, but I still will. So first of all, how many real normal summons do you play in this deck? You play 5. Graph is a really good card to normal summon because it's not that great to special summon unless you're trying to make like a Beatrice within 4 summons and simply not mail with Dante. And the reason why this is good is because, first of all, you don't lose to Nibiru. Second, you have a really fat Beatrice, so even if you get like impermed, Beatrice is still an interruption because you can detach Graph for cost and then special summon a Farfa that instantly dies and still banish something. So having a Graph underneath your Beatrice or a Farfa or an Alec is always something that you kind of want to have. And if your Beatrice dies, you go like Chainlink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you win. So no, I don't feel like milling with Dante always makes sense, and this is the reason why I think having like a really fat Beatrice is just very logical. And I'm going to return back to the milling / non-milling part of this deck really soon because, as you can see, I am playing a card that benefits off of being milled. But the thing with Tour Guide that I do want to mention is that it takes up your normal summon, and it is it fulfills a role that is a bit similar to Fiendish Rhino Warrior, but not really. So let's compare both cards right now. Fiendish Rhino Warrior doesn't really make you instantly lose to Ash, because if you get Ash on the Fiendish Rhino Warrior, well, sorry, it would actually have to be like way later on when you actually, you know, send it to the graveyard, and at which point you probably already have stabilized, which is kind of fine, and you can't really get ashed on like damage steps, so if they jump over your Rhino Warrior, it's not too bad. But the thing is, Rhino Warrior and Tour Guide both lose to Valor and Infinite, because if you go special summon a BA, then normal summon Rhino, and then you're gonna be like, haha, I'm gonna make my rank 3 now, and they go Valor your Rhino Warrior, well, all of a sudden, your other monsters don't really have, well, your Fiend monsters don't have protection from battle or by card effect, so they will start destroying themselves, and that will force you to crash your Fiendish Rhino Warrior, which is still technically pretty good, because you can send a Graph and then summon a Seer, or like a Skarm, sorry, on main phase 2, and that is safe from Ash. So in a way, I think Rhino Warrior gets you a little bit more stability. Also, it is a better card to discard off of Dinomiscus and Karma Cut, whereas if you draw like just too many Tour Guides, it's not really a card that you're trying to discard. It doesn't really have any value. However, another point where Tour Guide shines a bit brighter than Rhino Warrior is the fact that it is actually searchable by Skarm. Rhino isn't, since it's an Earth, and also Tour Guide is simply a one-card starter, so you don't need Tour Guide and something else. Whereas for Fiendish Rhino Warrior, you need Rhino Warrior plus something else if you want to be able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! to like a bigger depth, you know. Otherwise, I still think Rhino Warrior plus 4 traps gets you there. Well, obviously it does. Obviously, especially if you have like Fiend Griefing, which is like nasty, or like Dinomiscus plus like Fiend Griefing plus like Fiendish Rhino Warrior seems pretty freaking darn good to me, not gonna lie. It interrupts your opponent like 3 times. You can go like Alec, Farfa, and obviously banish with Dinomiscus, and also shuffle back a monster from their graveyard to their deck. So that's like 4 interruptions with basically just 3 cards. And you can pretty much get a Scarm in the graveyard to search for that tour guide. So if you want to, I think a pretty respectable thing to do could be playing maybe 2 tour guides with 1 Rhino Warrior, or 1 tour guide with 2 Fiendish Rhino Warrior, but I 100% wouldn't do 3 tour guides with multiple Rhino Warriors. It just makes absolutely no sense. You will start clogging, and you will start breaking. I really had to explain this because it is probably one of the most important things with the deck profile. Everything after that is just a bit more self-explanatory. So I'm not playing the danger monsters because they clash, obviously they clash with the strategy of the deck. They're non-BAs, so what are you really trying to do? Discard trap cards to draw another BA and realize that maybe your danger just did absolutely nothing? That's kind of a problem. Same thing with Gallus the Star Beast. Why would I play Gallus when I'm only playing 24 monsters? That's a really huge percentage of missing. So no, I would definitely stick with only BA monsters, and I think this is respectable. Mathematician just makes absolutely no sense unless you're playing Supply Squad, but that's like a really old 2015 strategy. You know, activate Supply Squad, go Mathematician, send Graph, special summon Scarm, and then it dies, you draw a card, and then during the end phase you search for tour guide. But now it's just, we have 3 tour guides, so it's not like you're desperately trying to dig for that like turn 3 setup tour guide like ASAP. That just doesn't really, that's just not really a thing anymore. So yeah, for the quote-unquote hand trap lineup, or like utility lineup, I guess, I'm playing 3 Ash and 3 Lost Wind that can kind of be like splashed substituted for Infinite or anything of your choosing. I do feel like Infinite could be alright, but Forbidden Drop also sounds pretty fantastic. Forbidden Drop, once again, being like a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1. You can just basically discard Graph and Seer and negate 2 monster effects and then summon 2 monsters, so that's already Dante. Why not? That's pretty good if you ask me. And also you get good materials, like Graph can summon Seer and Seer can summon Graph, so well, yeah, pretty good. Or another cool thing, your tour guide, you go normal summon tour guide effect, and then they go like Infinite or Veiler, and then you chain Forbidden Drop, send the tour guide and other stuff, you negate everything, your tour guide still resolves, you summon Graph, other monsters. So I think Forbidden Drop can definitely be a good card to play here. Lost Wind, I only really played because I want to give ideas to people, but it's a good card to mill with Dante, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good card itself. I actually played a lot of test duels with Lost Wind, and honestly, the Graveyard effect never really came up. As a trap card to interrupt your opponent, it's amazing, but at the same time, Infinite kind of would have fulfilled the same role, and Infinite can negate any monster. It doesn't have to be special summon monster. It doesn't actually do it for the, like, permanently, and it doesn't have the attack or defense, but I still think that it's pretty good, and also it negates spells and traps in the same column. I will be doing a video on comparing Effect Veiler to Infinite relatively soon, so stay tuned if you want to see that happening. Yeah. Upstart Goblin, kind of sketch that you do a lot of OTKs within 8,000 damage or 8,500 damage, so Upstart would actually allow your opponent to survive, but I mean, whatever, you need consistency in your deck, I guess, so it doesn't really change that much, though. You can definitely play something else, especially if you're, like, really tight on space. You could play, like, 3 Infinite and then 3 Forbidden Drop instead of, like, the 2 Karmic Cut and the Upstart Goblin. Really no problem with that, so yeah. Foolish Burial. Yeah, I'm not explaining Foolish Burial. 3 Dinomiscus. This doesn't discard for cost, which makes it infinitely better because you don't lose to DD Crow. Because if you actually had to do, like, Karma Cut, discard Graph, on the activation of Karma Cut, the Graph is not in a window where it is allowed to trigger, so if they get like chain DD Crow to the Karma Cut, your Graph will simply not trigger, whereas if you go Dinomiscus, you actually keep the Graph in your hand, and you have to wait until everything resolves to, you know, trigger Graph, and then if they DD Crow, it doesn't matter, you're still summoning like Seer or Scarm from your deck with Graph. So Dinomiscus allows you to play through DD Crow, and I guess, well, I mean, not Caught by the Grave, no, but DD Crow a bit more, so yeah. Fiend Griefing, of course, it's really good in interrupting your opponent's graveyard while also interrupting their field by, you know, sending Farfa or Alec, or by getting your engine started by sending, like, Graph into something for, like, floatability, or Scarm, so, Karma Cut. This card is good against Eldritch if you want to banish like every single one of their Eldritch the Golden Lord in one shot, but it's a lot of setup and it discards for costs, so it's a bit more expensive sometimes when you have like multiples and you're trying to navigate through a board. Karma Cut, if you, Dinomiscus, if it keeps getting negated, you can still go like Dinomiscus again and again and again, even if you only have one card in the hand, because if they negate the activation, you don't have to discard the card, whereas Karma Cut, you still have to discard because it's actually on the moment you use the effect, like use the card, sorry. So Karma Cut, definitely not that great, and also it doesn't banish spells and traps. Karma Cut actually, holy shit! I mean, basically, at the end of the day, they're both kind of Karma Cuts, but not really. Dinomiscus would be able to banish floodgates and stuff, so I actually used it to banish golden, sorry, what's the name? Eldorlando. Yeah, the continuous spell that searches golden land spells and trap cards, yes. But anyways, 3 Compulse. I like this card a lot. I already explained it to my friend how if you go normal summon tour guide and they go like Veiler or something, you can compulse your own tour guide, and that's just extreme value. Not only do you get a tour guide back as a follow-up, but also you have like your monster that fully resolves. Like your tour guide fully resolves, so you summon like Graph or something. So Compulse is a card that is good against the opponent and good for yourself. So yeah. The extra deck, Pilgrim, Dante Pilgrim, so the very good Dante. Negalogia, I might actually consider playing multiples because this card is nasty. Beatrice, of course. Acid Golem is nice. If they have Dragoon of Red Eyes, it has 3,000 attack, so if you go and reveal a BA, they kind of have to, not really, they don't necessarily have to, like, they don't have to negate, but if they don't, you go normal summon another BA, make Acid Golem, crash, and then if it's like a Graph, you special summon a monster, and then you reveal another in main phase 2, like a Seer. Yeah, if it's a Graph, then basically you already make like a Beatrice on main phase 2 with only 3 cards through a Dragoon, so that's pretty insane. Nightmare Shark, if they have too many monsters and you can't really like crash because your monsters are too weak, that's how you actually get, that's like a kind of the Borbo of the deck for BA in a way to make Negalogia, so it's basically Borbo. To Dante, I could play a third, but the extra deck is kinda tight, but not really, kind of in a way. Boral Sword, obviously, you could play Borload. Access Code, it's cool because I have Unicorn. Appaloosa, why not? I mean, it's not that hard to make with Cherubini now, so yeah. Phoenix, this I already explained the play, and also it's a fiend, so well, obviously, but it's it allows you to out Rivalry of Warlords inherently. Break Sword, on the other hand, allows you to out Goes and Match. Yes, that was the card, because wait, hold on, what, Goes and Match? Yeah, of course, you have 2 darks, so that's the only rank 3 dark that allows you to instantly do it. Or if you want to out Rivalry plus Goes in, there's Unicorn, because it's a fiend and it's a dark, but it's very neggy, so you actually lose a lot of resources. It's not that bad, but Cherubini is actually a fairy, so you can't actually go like Tour Guide into Graph and then Cherubini into Unicorn. That just doesn't work. Unless you're only under Goes and Match, but that's whatever. And you can't really play through there, it can only be one. That's why Dinomiscus is like way better than Karma Cut. Phoenix when Wind Blast is a really good card that you could play as well, so yeah. And then Mascarina, there's a combo that uses it, so I'm not going to explain it. Cherubini, of course. 1 is enough, you can revive it back from the grave, and honestly, it's not even that good, so. Gravity Controller, this is a combo that allows you to turn a Dante into a Beatrice. Basically, if you have Seer and any BA, that's a 100% Beatrice, so you just have to summon your Dante in the extra monster zone. You can mill if you want, it's not mandatory. If your opponent Ghost Ogres you, he's really stupid. And Ghost Ogre's BA is literally the worst card. If you Ghost Ogre Beatrice, I will give you a hug. If you Ghost Ogre Dante while it has Seer as a material, you're really dumb, and there's really nothing else to ogre. You can't really ogre a tour guide. I'm just gonna reveal another BA and do as if nothing ever happened. Yeah, it's just, no, yeah, this deck really doesn't lose to that many hand traps, like, really. It loses to Ghost Bell a little bit, DD Crow a little bit, DD Crow a bit more, honestly. Yeah, especially on the Seer Dante loop, so that's why I try not to recycle back the Seer when I use Dante's effect, but yeah. Anyways, for the idea section, Backjack is actually a pretty interesting one. I might actually put it in the main deck and maybe cut 1 tour guide realistically, because Backjack is the kind of card that even when you don't draw it, it shines very well. because it makes Fiend Griefing better, and Trap Trick could also be played in the deck. So basically, the effect of Backjack is when it's sent to the graveyard, you can arrange the top 3 cards of your deck in any order you like, and during your opponent's turn only, you can banish Backjack and then excavate the top card. If it's a trap card, normal trap card, you set it to your field, but you can use it this turn, and if it is not a trap card, you send it to the graveyard. So there is kind of like a double value that you can get just with a Backjack. So basically, if you're stacking a trap card, well, it's instant value. Obviously, you can see why. But if it's a monster like Graph, maybe not the best example because you would need a non-BA to make the monster that you summon die. But if you actually send if you stack a Farfa or an Alec, the Backjack can actually be an interruption too. So even if you don't get any traps, it's still good, and you can just stack your deck for more consistency. So you send that Farfa, and then you know for a fact that next turn you're top decking a good card. So it's a relatively okay card to draw because you can go reveal, BA, and then make Dante, and then normal summon Backjack, make Link Karibo or Relinquished Anima, and then, you know, do the deck stacking, and yeah. And I think Backjack should probably be played, honestly. It's not like before where it was an actual brick, because in your hand it wouldn't do anything. But now that there's Link 1s and stuff, Backjack is actually a respectable card to draw, honestly. So yeah, the more I think about it, the more I want to play it. Yeah, I think Backjack should definitely be considered. And then, you know, Break Sword, of course. I really want to play it, but the extra deck space is just very tight. Mascarina, probably the card that I don't need to play, so maybe cut that, but we'll see. Berserker of the Tenya, I mean, whatever. Trisbania is really, really good. It should at least be in the side deck because it destroys back row decks completely if you can actually make Trisbania during your opponent's turn with Mascarina, and then actually, like, send a Graph with Beatrice, you know, summon something, it instantly dies with Trisbania, and then they lose all their back row, so yeah. And then, of course, I don't know why I'm playing Cerberus, 3 Tactical Talents, Forbidden Drop, I already explained. Supply Squad, it's cute, but whatever. Ice Dragon's Prison, that's just another generic normal trap card that you can play. Once again, don't forget about Trap Trick. I'm just gonna put it right here so you don't actually forget, and also so I don't forget myself, because I am 100% interested in playing this deck in the future. It was really fun. My testing actually went really, really well. I won almost every single one of my games. It was ridiculous. And the few games that I lost, I think I pretty much recorded them as replays, so you will see me losing for once in my life tomorrow. No, actually today. I will be uploading this today. So yeah. And also Breakthrough Scale, not that great, but it was just like more of an idea. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say for this Burning Abyss deck profile. If you guys have any comments or feedback, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. I'm actually losing my saliva because I'm talking way too fast. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time.